Hi, Jen Gilchrist here. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are new to me and you resonate with me. I'd love to have you in the community. This way you'll get notified right away. You can check the description below for all kinds of ways to connect with me on other platforms, as well as I often have freebies and things to support you, whether it's a guided meditation, clearing, or I often work with people to align with their unique gifts and purpose as well. So it could be about your spiritual career or love and relationship. Now, this particular reading, I haven't done a lengthy, or I would say in-depth, it will probably be a little bit lengthy, of the divine feminine and divine masculine for the twin flames. I've also noticed a lot of divine soulmate counterparts, high-level soulmates, however you want to call that. Mostly twin flame, but sometimes I do feel just light workers, and we're not all meant to be with our twin flame, but we all have a high-level soul-aligned divine partnership that's coming in. And many of the people I work with are those that feel called to be a purpose in the world in some form or fashion, and oftentimes that includes embodying this high level of unconditional love, which is really what this journey is all about for twin flames and those really soul-aligned divine counterparts that are coming together in this lifetime to anchor and embody this new way of loving at that next level. And so I'm going to go through the cards. I have a row for divine feminine and divine masculine, kind of looking at their overall energy, looking at what's going on in their thoughts towards their counterpart, in their heart, what their likely actions will be, and also some advice from your spiritual support team as to what next steps to be taking. And so let's go ahead and just dive in. So for the divine feminine, I just kind of looked at a little overall sneak peek, and this will also help you know, does this resonate with you if this reading is for you, right? Because I'm just reading for a particular collective. So you'll know, take what resonates, leave the rest. This is a general reading, of course, but I think you'll kind of get a sense when I talk about you a little bit if this is for you. And comment below. I'd love to hear the comments below of how your twin flame or soulmate journey is going. So the first card for the divine feminine I came out was 10 of Wands and 9 of Pentacles. I feel like she's been feeling like she's been carrying a heavy burden. She's been carrying, it might have been a hard time, whether you are just coming out of a hard time where you feel like you've been carrying a lot of the weight, maybe of the relationship, or just in life. It feels like you are an independent person and you've carried a lot of weight and had a lot of responsibility for not only this relationship, but in your lifetime, probably energetically for your family. Like in some ways, it just feels like your path has been like you're used to carrying a lot of burdens of responsibility, and you're working on your 9 of Pentacles. So you're really working on releasing that burden. Some of you may have just let go of a lot of burden and are stepping more into that 9 of Pentacles energy that feels like, okay, I'm kind of getting back into my flow here. I'm feeling good. I've been doing the work. I'm feeling really confident, and I'm working on most of you that I'm reading for on this one, working on my purpose work, taking action in my business, kind of working on my foundation, which is wonderful. And I'm starting to see like this, the world's getting a little brighter and a little lighter, and I'm feeling good. And some of you are just starting to drop that heavy burden and are being called into this more 9 of Pentacles energy. Right? And so if you haven't been focusing on your purpose work, then as you continue to focus on your purpose work and focus on you and focus on your foundation, it lightens the energy of the connection as well, as that's just where your attention will support both the connection but also you right now. And so I feel like most of you know that and are getting into that 9 of Pentacles energy, even though it may have been kind of an intense start to the year, right? Or who's kidding? It's been an intense while for most of us. And for the divine masculine, and again, roles could be reversed in terms of, I'm going to read the divine masculine as the male, the divine feminine as the woman, because the majority of the time that's the case. But of course, they're same sex. So whoever's carrying the energy of the divine masculine in the relationship, that will be the he, and or vice versa. Sometimes the sensitive, more conscious men are carrying the energy of the divine feminine. So you have to decide that for you. But I'm going to read it. Just don't take the gender rules too specific, okay? But the divine masculine is more in the magician energy and the justice card. This is kind of the overall what's been going on with them. So he's been getting more into his power. It feels like he's been going through ripples of dark nights of the soul and awakening, and he's finding justice. For some of them, I feel like they have ended a divorce or a long-term relationship. finding that justice. It could be also with work. There could be some contracts with things that he's been focusing on. I know the masculine's been working on their work as well, but for some of them it does feel like, a balance has been had, and he's starting to step more into his power and collect all of his, kind of collect himself. And so he's been doing good. He's been doing the work. I feel like most of you guys are not, doesn't feel like in very solid communication, probably no communication perhaps for a while. But he's starting to collect himself, collect his energy, and find that balance. And he's putting some to rest completions of things that were not working for him, that were not in alignment for this connection to happen. Now, in the thoughts for the divine feminine, it's interesting. As I look at this, there's going to be two big tracks for the feminine, but let's just start with this one. The Fool is what's coming up in her thoughts. She really wants to just be on her most aligned path. She wants a new beginning. She wants a fresh start. She wants it most likely with the divine masculine, but some of you might have just been kind of losing hope or just being frustrated, just kind of want to just want to move ahead and have a new start. I think, at the end of the day, you want to be with your divine masculine, but you also feel like you've just been working hard and you're kind of setting that down and feeling tired, kind of feeling in a whirlwind. So you're just looking for balance. Part of it is looking for balance. You're seeking that grounded connection with the earth, connection with your spiritual energy. You've been just embodying yourself. So it looks great, but you really ultimately want a new beginning, a fresh start, right? In love. The divine masculine in his thoughts right now is he's getting a 7 of wands, right? So he's just starting to rise above the conflict and the energy and the burden and the things. So the divine feminine's kind of like just setting down her 10 of wands burdens. He's kind of rising out of the 5 of wands conflict energy and into, okay, I'm kind of getting my footing. I'm kind of getting ahead of it. I'm kind of getting on top of it. Whatever marriage, relationship, contracts, job, whatever's needed to end for him and find balance for, he's finding it. And so now he's starting to feel like he's getting a little bit on top of all the heaviness, right? All the conflict, all this stress. So he's just like, which makes sense. Usually divine feminine's a few steps ahead, quote unquote, at least on this particular part of the journey, in terms of the relationship and emotional growth and all of that. So he's just starting to feel at least rising above. Now in the divine feminine's heart space, she feels like the Queen of Swords and 10 of Pentacles. So part of it is like you're feeling in your power. Like for the most part, that you rock. I really do see, like, she sees that spiritual support. I see the Trinity there that often for me embodied, and you can look at that at different ways, but essentially I just see that God, divine masculine, divine feminine, centered within yourself. You feel like you've been working on that. You feel like you're you're a badass. You're doing awesome. You spoke your truth. You've been standing your ground, and you still really have room. You're not bitter. I don't feel like most of you are like stuck in bitterness right now. I feel like you did kind of may have had to like speak your truth, but for the most part, I feel like most of you have done the work to be in a space of like still being open for the 10 of Pentacles, right? You're creating that with yourself. You're in the 9 of Pentacles energy in your own self. You're ready for the 10 of Pentacles. You're ready for this new beginning in love, and you're ready to have that, right? Your heart is open. Even if you're in the Queen of Swords energy, you're finding that clarity, you're finding that truth, you've taken your mask off, you're willing to just bear it all. You're still able to now heal through enough to be vulnerable, but in your power at the same time. So it's like you've got a good energy going right there. Yay, you. In the heart, the divine masculine feels like, it doesn't feel like, some of you could be talking because the King of Swords is here, but what I'm seeing is because the Page of Swords and King of Swords. So 4 cards came out. I was really, I intend whatever wants to come out, but 1 or 2 cards maybe. 4 popped out, and it made sense all at once, very clear. So the Page of Swords, King of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, and 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so for him, I feel like part of this coming out of what he's been coming out of is he's been in the Page of Swords energy, which is maybe social media, checking you out, looking at your photos, reminiscing, looking at you from afar, not actually speaking his truth, but he's wanting to work on an actual foundation, right? Most of you, it's with his divine feminine, and I feel like majority of you have met. Majority of you have met your person, but probably aren't in communication much right now, if at all. Probably been in separation, actually. Or there could be a few of you that haven't quite met yet, but I think that that's not the case for most of you, okay? Because he has been working on his pentacles, but for majority of the people, I'm feeling, I'm just going to say it one at a time. Sometimes it's so hard to like read all the possible scenarios as they come in so fast. He's been in this Page of Swords energy. He wants to be in the King of Swords energy. He's not yet there for the majority, but he's working on it. He's working on, he really wants to create a solid something fair. He's kind of tired of his ways. Maybe he's been a player, maybe he's been non-committal or just single for a while, just not really, you know, in that space of commitment or emotional availability, but he's been working on it, right? Because the universe kind of, I think, forced this spiritual, you know, his higher self actually did too. I don't believe the universe like hands us, I think that we create it through our resistance, and he was in resistance and he had to create a dark night of the soul moment, and the universe kind of tipped that along and supported it, and his higher self just kind of pulled him through, and now he's coming on the other side saying, I want to create a more solid foundation. I want some more even give and take. I'm willing to put in the work. And for majority of you, that is with you, and he's aware of that. For some of you, if you haven't quite met yet, or it's been a while and maybe you guys never got the connection off the ground very far, but you knew and he had no idea, he's starting to realize that he wants a little more. But majority of it's with you, because this Page of Swords, I just feel like he's been watching you. He's been watching you and you've been growing on him. He's just like, hey, what's happening? It's like you probably haven't been in communication, but he's kind of like, I don't know, almost falling, I want to say a little bit falling in love from afar for some of you as well. And for others, he's just kind of like, wow, thinking of you and like thinking, you know, maybe, you know, that girl was actually pretty awesome. And so now let's move on to the Divine Feminine's like actions. So this is where it gets interesting. I feel like for some, like there's like three possible ways this could look. And I think that you're going to know what's right for you. But you got Ace of Cups and Strength for your actions. And of course, she wants this new beginning of the Ten of Pentacles, which is having it all with the divine counterpart, with divine love, right? And this is like emotional fulfillment. And she wants to stay in her power and in her strength. She wants to be vulnerable, but strong. She wants to be in her feminine, but in her strength, which is totally possible, which is what you've achieved, which is like, I feel like that is where the energy that you're in and you're able to hold now. So awesome job. You've done a lot of work. It's like that. It reminds me of the High Priestess energy. You have the Queen of Swords here, but you also have a lot of other, I don't know. I just feel like you've done a lot of work and you're kind of are able to embody all the queens when needed, right? You have access to them. You're ready. Your heart's open. You're able to be vulnerable and speak your truth. Right, and stand your ground with your values and integrity at the same time. And so it's just requiring you to keep your inner strength. There's a part of you, maybe your little girl's like, I want to make sure I don't lose, you know, when the Divine Masculine comes back in, is it going to be the same as it was? You know, I don't want to lose myself within it. But I think most of you are pretty clear, like you're going to be able to read that right away. And either he is going to be ready or he isn't. And for some of you, I do feel like there's another option that has come in, maybe a soulmate option, because I think we always do have free will of choice. And in some cases, Divine Masculine is taking a long time, right? And some of you might just be over it, or just realizing that there's more growth that you can have while this is happening, right? It could be divine timing. Feels like this could take, for some people, still take a while. And for some people not. This is where, you know, we're all on our own timelines here, and you kind of know where you're at on this journey. You just have to be honest with yourself, kind of tune into that. But for some of you, another option is here. And for some of you, maybe the person that you thought was your counterpart, somebody new has come in or is coming in, that maybe that was a catalyst. Maybe that was a catalyst person that you thought was you were like curious if it was your twin flame or soulmate, and really now you've done all this work through that relationship, and now you know, your true aligned love could be coming in. Or for some of you, it's like, I'm just tired of this journey. I'm exhausted. This is going to be a freaking while, I can tell, and I'm just going to open my heart and keep living and then trust in this process. And so for some of you, it might be that you've called in a soulmate. Well, this is where it's at. So there's two things there. And the third option is the emotional new beginning with the Divine Masculine, right? For some of you, it's kind of like you've gone along this far enough and he's finally kind of stepping into his power. He's taking care of business and he's going to reach out with solid, clear, truthful communication and the King energy. And when he does, you're ready, right? And that could be around the corner for some of you as well. Because when I look at what his actions are that he, I feel, is stepping I think he was been more in the Page of Wands energy for most people, right? He's moving in towards this Page of like wanting a little bit more emotional fulfillment, but he's still a Page. So it's Page of Cups. So now instead of just sex or just that casualness, he's like ready to start working on a foundation of something. And for most of them, they know it's with you. And for some, maybe don't know yet, but it's going to lead them back to you or to you, right? But he's still kind of in that Page, like at least moving towards the Page energy. So what I feel like is what he's gone through is open his heart, his desire for more, and meeting you and knowing you, or wherever this dark night of soul took him, it cracked open his heart because he had been closed off, and that's why he's been just kind of emotionally unavailable, shying away from relationships, likely very casual, just kind of being a player or whatever, focused so much on work and not dating. For a few, most of them I think are kind of Casanovas, but you know, this is just where he's wanting a little bit more fulfillment, and he's ready to actually put in the work. And for a lot of them, they know it's with you because they see you as this Queen of Wands. Like they really do see you as a queen, but he's not able to match that queen energy as of yet. Even though he's working on the King of Swords, he's still working on I don't think he's embodying all the kings. I think he's moving out of the Page energy. He wants to move out of the Page energy. I feel like the King of Swords and King of Pentacles is something that he probably has. Like the King of, like the Pentacles energy, he feels pretty solid in. The King of Swords, he's rising into pretty quickly, but he's still been working on it. It's hard for him to get into his emotional availability, his heart. You know, he's been working a lot. Like, I feels like he's been hurt really bad in the past, and he's just sort of cut it off, right? Like he didn't want to feel that ever again, and he hadn't really processed the depths of what needed to be processed in order to be available and emotional and in the King's, like that full-on mature, emotional, and King of Wands even, which is not the Page of Wands, it's that more stable energy. So he's still not there, but he's saying that you're the Queen of Wands, and he's wanting to want that now. He's starting to step more into his emotional availability through all that's just happened for him, but he's still working on it. Now, spiritual advice for the Divine Feminine. This is where it seems like it kind of is a little bit, just tune into yourself and take what works and ditch the rest, because there's a couple routes here again. For one thing I will say is that for the Divine Feminine, positive change, drink more water. A lot of this is about you taking care of you, continuing to work on your Nine of Pentacles, continuing to just focus on yourself. The more that you align with your purpose, the more that you align with like embodying, like taking care and nurturing you, loving you, doing you with an open heart. I mean, I feel you're definitely ready. You're ready. You've been kind of ready for this, right? But I think for a lot of the Divine Feminine, the reason why it hasn't fully come in yet, of course, there's divine timing and the masculine and all these things going on as well. But part of it is also that you needed to really work on your pentacles. You needed to work on your solid financial foundation, your purpose work. You needed to really get grounded and rooted and aligned with where you're going, so that you didn't get swept up and lost and not really moving forward in that as well. And also just to own your own confidence and your own like embodiment of your masculine. Because really the truth is, at the end of the day, when the twin flames come together, and even really highly really evolved conscious soulmate relationships, it's like you're both embodying your divine masculine and feminine individually, so you can come together and elevate one another, not be codependent with one another. And I think that that is part of what helped you step into your queen's energies in all of those areas even more fully. And so keep doing you, keep doing those positive changes, drink more water, be more water, really focus on taking care of your body and making positive choices for yourself. This turquoise says, spiritual path, your true beliefs are becoming clear to you, which prompts you to make necessary life changes. So for some of you, it could be letting go of old patterns. It might be like you're feeling the call to go vegan, or not drink alcohol, or not drink alcohol as much, or like exercise more, like whatever the healthy lifestyle changes are. It just feels like you're raising your frequency, which is important, and you're being called into a cleaner lifestyle of some sort, or maybe more consistent meditation practices. Whatever those life changes are, letting go of friends that are drama driven, who knows? Like there's lots of things for everyone's different, but the more you continue to make positive, healthful changes for yourself and your body, everything else falls into suit. You don't have to worry about it. You can take your mind and your worry and your thoughts out of it. In fact, the more you do that, the faster it comes. And it's telling you to go forward fearlessly. And I think this could be a double-ended. So on your career path, keep moving forward fearlessly. And now this is where it kind of comes into a couple scenarios, because we got soulmate, which a lot of times I do see as the twin flame card, but it can be definitely a soulmate card. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from what you think. And Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles plays both ways as well, because I feel like it's important for you to keep making a detailed plan with your own purpose work and your money and your foundation, and maybe paying off debt or like saving, like just kind of like doing whatever you're doing for your solid own foundation. But for many of you, again, there's an emotional new beginning here, whether it's with Divine Masculine stepping up, he's ready to step up, there's an emotional new start, or because Divine Feminine is like, wow, this is like, I want to move forward, have opened up the idea of a new soulmate. So a new soulmate may be coming in for you. And for a small few of you, the person who you thought was your twin flame or soulmate may have been a catalyst and preparing you for what's right around the corner, right? And so this is just keep an open mind. Be curious. Let go of the absolute certainties. I always like to keep that 95%. I think I know who this person is 95%, but I'm leaving open a 5% curveball from the universe of like, this is what I needed to think, believe, know, do, or go through in order to get to that person. Just know that you're on track and keep your intention to stay on the highest track for you and for your soul aligned love and for your life and for your business. And just knowing that that is your prize, right? Taking the attachment to a particular person off. I feel like I'm saying for some of you, even though majority of you do know who this person is, for some of you, you're going to realize that somebody else might be trying to come in that you might have been suppressing a little bit because you are so focused on this one person. And for some of you, it's just your Divine Masculine is going to still be like, it feels like for some of them, it could be like a year or two, it could be a while. And so you're just like, you know what? I got to keep doing me and just allowing, maybe you just wanted to allow some love in, right? You want that intimacy. And for some of you, it is just confirmation that this is your soulmate, this is your twin flame, and just keep going forward. But because there's keep an open mind, there's just enough information here that I feel like for like 20 or 25% of you could be just that keep an open mind to somebody new that's coming in around the corner, whether it's that you thought somebody was your twin flame or soulmate and it was really a catalyst, or that your divine counterpart is just going to be a while and you guys can still be learning through and healing through another relationship, perhaps for some of you. That's just for some of you, right? But majority, all of you need to know that you're on the right track. And if you just keep focusing on you, making good choices for you, choosing that alignment, choosing for asking those signs, you keep stepping forward, the clarity is going to reveal itself. But do keep an open mind, because your soulmate may differ from your usual type or expectation. And that's where I'm saying that some of you might be having a revelation about this. Now, Divine Masculine. He's got true love, and you're seeing this accurately. So he's really, remember, his overall thing is he's stepping into this magician's energy, right? He's been going through a dark night of the soul. So the energy, the information for the Divine Masculine is that he is hearing his intuition. He's seeing the intuition practically. If you've been doing energy work with him, and I feel like a lot of you, majority probably, have been connecting on the 5D, whether that's consciously working with them on a 5D level with their higher self to higher self, probably having 5D sex, telepathic communication. Like there's probably been a lot of consciousness for the Divine Feminine in this reality, and maybe not. Mostly yes. You guys are pretty sensitive, right? And you've been manifesting this consciously, very clear about this for a while, I feel. But he is seeing this information correctly. He is recognizing this. His intuition is opening up. He is starting to realize that this is his intuition. So this is a validation from spirit to spirit to spirit that, hey, your intuition's correct. But whether he's starting to trust is what I'm going to say. And that there's true love. Like he sees this is actually true love. And that the Six of Wands, the Six of Gabriel is there. And he actually does want that. He's just a bit off from it still. Right? But this is the projection that he's on. He's on towards the Six of Wands, towards that celebration. He is on to trusting and seeing that his intuition is real. These synchronicities he's getting are real. The communication that he may be starting to recognize and may have just thought was a thought, he's starting to recognize is real, and that there's true love here for him. Right? There could have been some religious factors that are affecting this. It could have been his upbringing, or just his non-connection to spirit. Like I feel like they are very intuitive, but maybe not quite as spiritual. They've been a little bit more connected with the 3D. And so perhaps they just weren't aware or understanding this connection and didn't have anybody to really talk to about it, to validate it, like the women, like most of the divine feminine do, right? The other card for him is the moon cycles. And it's interesting. I see this trinity. Oh, I see it here too in the divine femme. There's the 3 birds there. And I don't know if you can see, but the 3 birds here. And so it's really connecting to the moon cycles. It says, Haniel, notice how the moons affects your energy and capitalize. So they're basically saying manifest, use the energies to manifest. But also I'm just noticing that I see this just lighting up his crown, like the energy of the spiritual support is just lighting up his crown. And so I feel like, you know, if you do feel aligned with this person, feel very certain that it's the correct, that, you know who your twin flame is, or this relationship, then just keep focused on your vision, keep focusing on you. It's happening. It just might be a little slower than we'd like. And for some of you, again, just be open to what's coming in. And then for him, oh, I love it. Divine intervention. So this is what happened, right? He had that divine intervention tower moment that led to like a death, you know, awakening and stepping into his power and all of that. So God sends miracle answers to your prayers. So energy of gold. And I'm seeing that Christ consciousness energy as well. I feel like this connection is really connected to the Christ consciousness, and I feel like the unconditional ray of pink ray and gold ray. So you can use those in your own energy. You can do that in the 5D with him. You can send that unconditional love towards him. And the next message was stay strong in your faith. A positive outcome is dependent on you keeping a positive mindset. And so really this is about him, you know, keeping the faith and really keeping his eye focused and trusting what he's seeing, trusting what he's knowing, and being willing to keep moving forward. But I think he is. It just, for some of you, this is coming around the corner, so you can trust the next time it comes around. It feels like it's solid. You'll know right away if he's in the page energy or the king energy, right? But it's still coming forward, right? He is. This divine masculine is, I feel, going to evolve in this lifetime. It just feels like he's on track for that. It just, for some of you, actually could be, 6 months or a year or 2. I mean, it's just everyone's on different timelines. And so that's why I say for the divine feminine, there's people, you guys are also in different places because you've been working at this for a long time. So don't lose faith. Keep your eye on the bigger prize and just allow what comes through to want to come through. So I hope that was supportive of you. I know that I feel like there's kind of a lot of different tracks on this one, but I hope it was supportive. Check the descriptions below. Let me know in the comments how this resonates for you. I also have pretty active on Facebook and have some ways that you can stay connected with some free healings and things like that in the content in the comments below. So I'll look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye-bye.